Scene 14. That evening, Kelly and Frank are sitting in a hotel room in Ohio. Frank is sitting on the bed, flipping through the channels on TV. Kelly is toweling her hair dry. Frank passes a news report. He goes on to a sports channel.
No, go back.
Die in a fire.
Frank, go back, please.
Kelly, die in a fire, please.
She goes into the adjoining hotel room. Brandon and Faye are settling in there.
Hey, can I flip on your TV? Sure.
Faye sighs and nods. Kelly turns on the TV and finds a news program. Two members of the ensemble stand behind the TV and speak for the announcers. Kelly, Brandon, and Faye watch, stunned.
Can hardly begin to gauge the impact of today's triple terrorist attacks in a country with so many already struggling from a winter unlike they've ever known.
Yeah, I would say the attacks were opportunistic in that regard. Our supply chains were already disrupted, and of course there's widespread anxiety about getting adequate help to refugees from across 9 northeastern states. So it looks like the attackers took the opportunity to land a blow.
Madison enters from the bathroom, wrapped in towels.
Hey!
So this has been the perfect storm to these terrorists.
Indeed. 30 bombs, first in Chicago and Houston, and then an hour later in San Francisco. They seem to be aimed primarily at the transportation network. They're targeting our ability to function, to move goods and people around, rather than seeking to end the most human lives. Not that we have heard anyone estimating fatalities yet.
Well, we've seen this pattern before in the last few years. There was that incident in New York with Dystopia Inc. claiming responsibility, but we haven't seen anything on this scale.
No, not on this scale. Not in a couple of decades.
So what are we seeing now in the national response? What's the mood?
The president promised swift retaliation in his initial unscripted remarks.
Of course he did, but what are Joe and Jane Q. Public feeling?
I'd say they're in shock. They're going to ground. There's just so much chaos. Not just in the cities that were targeted, but a ripple effect.
Kelly turns off the TV. They all sit in silence for a while. Kelly goes to the minibar and gets out a tiny bottle of alcohol. She chugs it while the others watch in surprise. Kelly looks at them all, then takes out several more bottles. She holds them out to her children. Faye and Brandon shake their heads, bemused. Madison checks to see that Kelly is serious, then grabs one and huddles against the bed to start drinking it. Kelly takes the rest back into the room where Frank is watching sports. The TV announcers follow her and stand behind this TV. Kelly holds out a bottle.
You're going to need this.
I already need it. First thing you've done right today.
He opens and starts chugging it.
You're going to need it more when you see this.
She picks up the remote.
May I?
He looks at her suspiciously, then nods. She turns to the news program, and the two announcers resume.
Trying to say, with no group having yet claimed responsibility, we've already heard experts conjecturing that the attacks were perpetrated domestically.
You're not talking about an inside job about the government attacking its own citizens.
No, I'm talking about the citizens who want a violent upheaval, the anarchists, the disgruntled, the hackers, Dystopia Inc.
Do you think someone's going to step forward to take credit for the attacks?
Oh, I think there'll be a lot of people taking credit for the attacks, and maybe some copycat activity in the next few weeks. But if this is some homegrown radicals operating, they may be hoping to maximize fear and paranoia, not by revealing themselves, just keeping everyone guessing.
Well, for now, the authorities are trying to keep the panic down by asking people to stay at home, stay off the roads, travel only if absolutely necessary, let emergency services do their jobs.
Kelly turns off the TV.
What's happened?
Dirty bombs. Houston, Chicago, San Francisco.
Long pause. Brandon comes into Kelly and Frank's room, looking heartsick.
Just why?
Kelly and Frank look blankly at him. Kelly shakes her head. Faye and Madison come in as well. The five are arrayed around the room. They stand or sit awkwardly. No one touches.